Everything changed the moment I opened my front door. It was not the broken furniture or the papers scattered across the floor that shocked me the most. It was the silence. My home felt lifeless, as if someone had stolen every sense of safety I had ever known. I had just returned from a 3-day work retreat, expecting to relax in the comfort of my house, only to discover that someone had carefully searched every room. The worst part was not the missing valuables. It was the disappearance of my late grandmother's letters, the only memories I had left of her. I immediately called my husband, Ethan, but the call went straight to voicemail. Deep down, I already knew where he was. He was at his mother Victoria's house, just as he always was whenever something went wrong. My coworker Daniel called to check if I had made it home safely, and I broke down as I explained what had happened. I told him I believed my mother-in-law was behind everything because she had spent years obsessing over an old family dispute, convinced that my grandmother's letters contained proof that my family had cheated hers decades earlier. As I searched through the damage, I found a receipt for a newly copied house key dated just days before I left town. When Ethan finally answered, he admitted he had given his mother access to the house because she claimed she wanted to look for old family photographs. His careless confession shattered what little trust remained between us. Furious, I drove straight to Victoria's house and confronted her in front of Ethan and his sister Madison. They denied everything at first, but their reactions made it obvious they were hiding the truth. Before leaving, I revealed that the stolen letters were only copies and that the originals had been safely stored in a bank for years. Watching Victoria's confident smile disappear gave me hope that I was finally one step ahead. Instead of waiting for another attack, I decided to prepare. Daniel helped me install hidden cameras throughout my home, knowing Victoria would eventually come back searching for the originals. Soon after, I secretly recorded a conversation proving that Victoria and Madison were already planning another break-in. Even worse, Ethan was still protecting them, refusing to admit how deeply they had manipulated him throughout our marriage. Just when I thought things could not get any worse, I received an anonymous message threatening to expose an old legal case involving my grandmother unless I met someone alone. At the meeting, Ethan appeared instead of Victoria. He repeated the lies his mother had told him, claiming my family had ruined theirs years ago. I finally handed him documents proving the exact opposite. His grandfather had committed fraud, and my grandmother had spent decades protecting the truth. Then I told Ethan something he never expected to hear. I had already filed for divorce. After years of choosing his mother over his wife, there was nothing left to save. The next morning, the hidden cameras captured everything. Victoria, Madison, Ethan, and their lawyer entered my house with keys and began searching every room. They believed I had hidden evidence behind my wall safe. Instead, I walked through the front door while recording everything on my phone. I confronted Victoria with years of financial evidence showing she had secretly stolen millions from the charity foundation she controlled. Her obsession with destroying my family had only been an attempt to hide her own crimes. Police soon arrived, and for a brief moment, Victoria tried to paint herself as the victim. She cried, lied, and blamed everything on me, just as she always had. But this time the truth was stronger than her manipulation. Ethan finally admitted what had happened and confessed that he had helped her break into my home. The officers arrested Victoria while her carefully built reputation collapsed in front of everyone she had spent years trying to impress. Although justice had finally arrived, my marriage could not be repaired. Ethan begged for another chance, insisting he loved me, but I realized love meant nothing without trust. I walked away carrying only the original letters my grandmother had protected for me. Later, another letter surfaced, proving Victoria had planned to destroy my reputation even before my wedding day. It confirmed what I had always suspected. None of this had ever been about old family history. It had always been about control. Weeks later, Victoria was sentenced to prison for embezzlement, her social status completely destroyed. Madison finally accepted the damage their family had caused, while Ethan signed the divorce papers and returned my grandmother's letters. He admitted he finally understood how deeply his mother had manipulated him, but by then, it was too late. My life had already begun moving in a different direction. In my new apartment, I discovered peace for the first time in years. I started painting, rebuilt my confidence, and surrounded myself with people who truly cared about me. Reading my grandmother's final letter reminded me that real victory does not come from revenge. It comes from refusing to let cruel people define your future. As I looked out over the city lights with a paintbrush in my hand, I realized I had finally found something far more valuable than justice. I had found my freedom, my voice, and the chance to begin again.